And we're live.
And we are live in Chicago. How you doing? See, I'm wearing my Chicago Cubs. I'm actually on my cell phone. You can see, by the way, the pretty ornaments and stuff. I'm actually at my sister Maggie's house. She's got the tree up. She's got the fireplace. The whole festivity. She's even got the ho 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 blanket. On her couch, all that kind of stuff. So, welcome to Feel Good Friday. So again, it's an unusual Feel Good Friday. And oh, by the way, that's only one of my sister Maggie's trees. So I'm actually in her house, kind of walking around. So like I said, it's kind of an unusual Feel Good Friday. So here's the thing: we've got Old Fezziwig as our beer of the week. Now, by the way, I'm also sporting my Sam Adams hat. Thank you to my brother Brian, my brother-in-law Brian. He's kind of like my brother, but so I'm sporting my Sam Adams hat because I've got Old Fezziwig as the beer of the week. Now, the labels of Old Fezziwig have changed dramatically. Okay, the older label that they used to have, I thought was really cool. I mean, so it was like the actual character Old Fezziwig. So it was like the old Christmassy. The guy had like the lamb chop sideburns and all kind of stuff. And now I'll show it to the camera here. Now it's very I don't know, it's kind of generic, to be honest. So I am not loving the new label. It's kind of a maroon or a rose color, whatever. Old Fezziwig, but I love Old Fezziwig beer. All right, so we'll kick off the show with the Old Fezziwig beer, which is awesome. Now they didn't make this last year, and a lot of people, including myself, were not happy. You can only find it in Cheers for Cheers. Now there's the old logo. If you can see it, I hope you can see it. I'm a little confused on my cell phone. I've never done it. I've always been in the studio, so I'm a little
It's
out of sorts.
it's bigger than we are right now.
Okay, good. So everybody can see the Old Fezziwig label.
Yes. Sorry, I had to move over. I didn't realize it was going to show both of us when I started sharing the screen.
No problem. So you can see the Old Fezziwig label. Kind of cool, festive. You can see the Old Fezziwig, the old dude, all that kind of stuff. So a neat label. Then they make the new one, and it's like I said, it's kind of very generic. But good news is the label doesn't matter, what it tastes like. So it's a really good beer, Old Fezziwig, Sam Adams. It's in the Beers for Cheers. It's like the winter variety pack. So interesting. Love this beer. So I'm glad they brought it back because, again, I was saying that they did not have it last year. And a lot of people, including myself, we're not very happy. So we've got that going. By the way, I'm going to be doing a little bit of walking around a little bit because I want to show you a couple things. Now, going to Chicago. Now, Sean, what's the coldest weather you've ever been in?
The coldest weather I've ever been in, probably not much lower than like the 20s or 30s.
Okay, 20s or 30s. So I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, around Thanksgiving. I'm stepping outside here on my sister Maggie's deck, and so about 2 weeks ago during at Thanksgiving, it was a little chilly. I mean, it was quite chilly. It dropped down, below 20, and at night. So I'm going to Chicago, and everybody's like, "Hey, stay warm, fight the cold. Take a heavy coat, blah 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 blah." Right now there's no snow. I'll kind of show you around a little bit. So doesn't look very cold, does it, Sean?
No, it does
Now
not.
the pool's closed, so they've closed the pool. It's cold enough to close the pool, but it's 55, so it's actually very, very mild. So loving the quote unquote really cold, bundle up weather here in Chicago. It is supposed to get cold again. I'll be here for a couple more days, and then, but fortunately for me, it's supposed to get cold after I leave. So a really good time to come to Chicago. So having a good time. Visited my friend, my high school friend Doug and his wife Janice last night. I went to their house. By the way, Janice had pot roast, which is awesome. Real food, quality, homemade food, not the box can frozen stuff I usually cook, at my house. So had a really nice time with those friends and enjoyed some Sam Adams, enjoyed some good food, some good fellowship, all that kind of good stuff. So really having a nice time here in Chicago. So now let's talk about back in Georgia. Now, Sean, do you know what the temperature is there?
Yeah, I just pulled that up. It is 64 degrees here, so pretty close to the same.
Yeah, so not much of a difference in temperature from there to here. So that's a good sign. But now the other thing that's going on in Georgia is the Bulldogs lost. Quite a bit of depression going on. They lost to Alabama. Remember, we were building it up. And by the way, shout out to a whole bunch of Georgia fans Barrett Tucker and Omar Garcia, Billy Merritt. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them that were kind of talking smack, on Facebook until about the third quarter, and then it got real quiet. So, but I'm not laughing at them. I was just saying that it was just kind of odd how everybody was talking a lot, and then they got really quiet after the third quarter. So Alabama actually with the victory, they claimed the number one spot. I didn't think it was very fair that Georgia fell to number three. So I felt like they should have still written at number two, but they're in the playoffs. So it's all now. It's just the four teams. So hopefully Georgia will get it back together, and they'll probably play. They're playing. I think it's Michigan that they're playing. So I think they'll handle them, and then they'll probably play Alabama, in the big championship. So it's still going to be another exciting week of football for Georgia fans, and again, the championship still. They can easily win the championship. They just got to get it together a little bit and not get so scared of Alabama. But I mean, remember I said last week, Sean, I said Alabama is just one of those teams where it doesn't matter how great they are, how bad they are, how average they are. There's just always that kind of threat, that you just kind of you get nervous, like, oh boy, here we go, playing Alabama, look out, So again, Georgia played a decent game. They didn't play great, but they played a decent game. It certainly didn't play well enough to beat Alabama. So, but they'll have another chance. Hopefully, they'll win their next game, and then they'll probably play Alabama in the championship. So moving on, as I'm now, we'll jump back to a little more Chicago feel. The album of the week for this week is the Blues Brothers soundtrack. Now, the classic rock revisit is what we call it. I talk about some old records, old albums, old musicians, things like that, that you should revisit, if you will, if you haven't in a long time. So the Blues Brothers, the original movie soundtrack, there's a lot of cool music on here. I mean, Ray Charles is on it. James Brown is on it. Aretha Franklin is on it. And then, of course, Jake and Elwood, the Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. It's a bunch of cool songs on there. Shake Your Tail Feather with Ray Charles is really good. Think from Aretha Franklin is good. Last track on the album, Sweet Home Chicago. It's a really cool version too. So check out the Blues Brothers soundtrack for the classic rock revisit. By the way, Sean, I don't know if are there any comments, because I can't see them, so you'll have to read those to me.
So far, it's just Mary Sullivan Moore with "Good Morning." That's...
All right. So my mom is across town, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
But I do want to give a shout out to my mom, because remember we were talking about the cookies that my mom hadn't made in a long time, the cream wafers. Well, she made them yesterday. So she made those for me while I was here, in town, and really good. They are very fragile. So, I mean, they're easy, they break really easily. But she made those yesterday. And there's some other sweets that she was working on. So who knows? I might get surprised with a few other Christmas treats and sweets and, all that kind of good stuff. So, Sean, have you started your Christmas shopping yet?
Have I started my Christmas shopping yet? I have not. I do have one idea. It always takes me until like right before the last minute, because I guess I'm actually thinking more and more like, well, I'm always paranoid I'm going to buy something that's not that useful for the person. They're going to use it for like a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and then it's going to run out of relevancy. But I've got a couple of ideas. No shopping yet so far, except for myself, of course.
Well, yeah, well, that's right. You always got to buy something for yourself. Remember my idea from a couple weeks ago? Just buy yourself
Yeah.
presents, and it's always the right size, the right color. It's always stuff you like. You never have to return it. All that kind of good stuff. So again, that's a bit of a different type of giving, if you will, for 'tis the season. so
Right.
so now, do you have nieces and nephews, or any? Do you have any small kids that you buy for?
I have a couple. I honestly usually don't know that well what to buy for them, just because I don't. I sit at home all year. I mean, I see my parents often, but other than like the grandparents, who work for the same company, I don't see family that often, except for the holidays. Are you? I think you
So
maybe.
no small kids that you need to buy for,
No, not really. I think we may have a bit of a delay.
and any small children for you to buy for. So my
I think
fading.
I think we're starting to have some Wi-Fi issues. You're breaking up and getting some delays.
A quick show. I absolutely wanted to make Old Fezzy. So go get some Old Fezziwig. Go listen to the blues track, and we will talk to you next Friday. Cheers.
Cheers.